to the beat. And make it wild, wild, make it wild, 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 make it wild, 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 make it wild. Make it wild, 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 make it wild. Break it wild, 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 make it wild. Break it wild. Make it wild, 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 make it wild. Make it wild, 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 make it wild. Make it wild, 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 make it wild.
and welcome everybody to the ever so lovely Streamers League, where we're covering the very best of streamers that we've got to offer in the Valorant space. Today, taking a look at the very, very beautiful country of Greece. And with me to cover all this, to commentate on this beautiful party, is none other than the ever so lovely Magvier. How are you doing, my man?
Thank you so much, Robert, for the lovely introduction. I'm quite happy. First of all, I really like Greece as a country, as a nation. Lovely people, amazing food, beautiful women, and white rocks near the sea. And second of all, this will be my very first official English cast, which I'm quite excited for because that's something I was looking forward to doing for a long, long time. And of course, today we'll be casting Valorant, my favorite and only game right now. So, well, this looks like a really promising Friday evening.
Absolutely, so I think, and I agree with you there, although I've got to admit, I've actually never been to Greece yet, so still on my travel list, still on my to-visit list, but I absolutely agree. From what I've seen, it's a beautiful country. Let's take a look at the format, of course, of the tournament right now. We've already covered two great regions, starting things off with none other than the Real Red, who came in from Romania, and then Targonka, who has made his place to the LAN finals, coming in from Hungary. Today we're covering Greece, and later on we'll be taking a look at Poland and then Czechia, along with Slovakia combined as well. Of course, the teams that win, they will make it to the LAN finals, but important to keep in mind, don't forget, of course, you've got the wildcard, so to get in, there's still an option if your favorite team might not have made it in. Exclamation mark wildcard for that, and maybe also coasting along on that point, a big shout out to HyperX for actually supporting us in this tournament. You can find more info about them under exclamation mark HyperX. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful lads that sort us out with, well, some pretty beautiful kit, I'd say so myself, just like you're wearing, along with that absolutely stunning shirt that you've got on today.
Yeah, today I brought out my best looking shirt. This, of course, is a space cat that is riding on top of the of a shark. Well, I'm really happy that we'll get to cast today's games because, of course, Greece is a region that, well, it's kind of underappreciated in terms of Valorant, let's say. If you think about it, we don't have that many tier 1 players from Greece, but during the last year, not last year, during the last season of VRL East Surge, Greek team called Anatosis Famagusta, they performed really, really well and actually placed top 4, which was such a big surprise. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of those teams, especially knowing that Team Stacy is made up mostly, if not all, from female players that are taking part in Game Changers tournament right now, which will be quite exciting because we also want to include all of those players that are willing to play, to perform, to showcase their skills. And well, I'm keeping my fingers crossed for them, of course.
Absolutely so. It's a great thing that Riot does in that sense. Let's also take a look at the group stages for today, the format that we're rocking with, because obviously things are a little bit different now. We've got to be honest in that things have shifted somewhat, and today we've only got two teams that we're actually covering, Team Mugi and Team Stacy. In that sense, they'll be playing for seeding to get that spot in the playoffs on Sunday. Obviously, tomorrow we'll be covering Group B, where we'll see Team Antilipsi going up against Team FNY, along with Team Slacky. In that sense, some beautiful matches that we've got ahead of us still for today, for tomorrow, and of course then those beautiful playoffs on Sunday. I think that with these teams, there's bound to be spectacle on the server. We've already taken a bit of a look at them, right? Seen how that they might stack up against one another. We've got to be honest here, Team Mugi, there's a lot of immortals over there, aren't there, Magvier?
Yeah, I see most of the players being Immortal 3, Immortal 1, so basically a really high level of players. If you come across them on the solo queue, they're basically the number 1% of the best players. So I'm quite excited to see them play as well, because of the fact that some of them, are in the environment of professional Valorant. Let's say a coach Shinshi being of course professional coach. But against them, I will not discount, the female team which also showed that they are cracking together, they are playing together. They have infrastructure which helped them, form the five-player team, which of course will be a tough competition for today's Team Mugi. Let's take a look into the map pool, because it looks like we'll be starting off on Breeze, which is a Stacy pick, then going to Icebox, and if there's a decider needed, we'll go to Hot Moroccan Sands of Bind.
How are you feeling about this map pick right now? Like, when I see Breeze, I think, okay, first off, an exciting prospect, because we don't see that one as much in the Streamers League, and one that I think allows for a lot of dynamic type of play. You've got the kind of, well, how do I put it, more interesting spots that you can dive into, right? That walkway that you've got. The middle area also provides a lot of movement speed, movement room, I should say. And then following that up with Icebox, that's a completely a completely different map, a complete change of pace in my eyes. How are you feeling about this one?
Honestly, I'm quite relieved, because casting most of the games from Valorant in Poland, I'm fed up with Ascent. This is like the most popular map in the region of Eastern Europe, so finally some Breeze. And of course, the most important factor about this map for me will be it's such an open map, it's such a huge map, so rotating quickly will be important, but the thing that's most important will be firefights. If you're a better situated player, if you're bringing more firepower into the mix, you'll probably get out on top after the game. So this could be a good arena to start the things off, like a little of a warm-up, and then of course if a team gets ahead during the first map, they could finish it off with Icebox.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if we actually make it all the way toward that finisher, right? Seeing things kick off on Bind will be an exciting prospect. For now, though, let's take a look at the agent select, where Team Mugi has already made a few things quite certain. Jet coming through, Chambers, Sova. Those are already three solid values. And how are you feeling about Jet nowadays? Is that still as strong of a pick as you think it might be?
Well, of course, she's weaker than she was before because of the changes, but still, get out of jail free cards still available for her. Of course, you have to be much more intelligent and smart about the usage, but when you look at it from the point of view of the defenders, she picks up an op, she takes a position, she pushes her button for E. After getting the initial shot, she's ready to jump away. So basically, it's much more risk reward right now, but still she should be able to perform her duties. And on the attacker side, on the other hand, if you want to perform her role, as an info gathering and as an initiator, which is basically like, let me give you an example. If you want to approach A side on Ascent, Jet still updrafts, dashes and smokes electric. She gets info, she gets on side, she creates the diversion. So she is still possible to use, but I think with the addition of Fade and when she will come available into the pro play, the compositions will be much more initiator oriented, which might be the reason why less and less duelists will see the play in pro play.
Yeah, that's interesting how that's going to be down the line, right? I'm also very excitedly waiting for that to kick off. Fade, a completely new agent, and still a completely new style of play that's going to be put into the game. So that's a really, really exciting prospect. For now, in general, in that agent composition, we saw a pretty similar stack up, only difference being Sky versus KO. But hey, speaking of these things stacking up against one another, let's just actually take a look at the game itself, because it's time to kick off the first map in the best of three. Absolutely lovely setup. It's Team Stacy versus Team Mugi. Team Mugi with the favor, rocking the majority Immortal players, but Team Stacy still being a pro-level all-female team. So that's very much an exciting prospect as well, and a fierce opponent to kick off against. So let's take a look at how Team Mugi's mid presence will work out, along with the further push towards A main. Coming out of it quite quickly, Nyaru going for a fight, but Stacy being stronger, holding things off. Ace with a good follow-up. And Stacy maybe next with the Sheriff. Actually, the Headhunter, of course, coming through. Now switching to the Classic. And that's already a 2v4 situation. Shinji, who's able to put in a bit of difference. Wombo following up quite well, but Stacy getting the drop. Already finding a triple. And would you look at that? Headhunter coming into play again, but now it's the Ghost actually in Stacey's hands. And can she find the kill? Yes, she will. A 4K found and a beautiful start to this round. Team Stacey going for the first.
That's how you want to start a game off, especially as a captain of the team. Stacey putting 4 on the board for her, and it was a really good hold from the side of Team Stacey. I wanted to start off with Wheel of Gaming because, of course, this is the team that Stacey and the rest of the players, of the female players, play in. But basically, what happened was Stacey got a really quick kill, then repositioned, and just dancing around the pyramids. She bought so much time for the rotation, which I mentioned before. If you're quick to rotate, if you're quick to push, put the numbers on the map in the right direction, the right place, you will be probably the team that is going to win. Such an important round, winning the first pistol, and now transitioning into the next round.
Absolutely. That pistol round always brings a certain advantage to you and creates that momentum for a potential second round, depending on how the next fights will go. Icy Kate, good holds to start things off with. Spectres running supreme. Stacey and Icy with 2 further kills. Spike already down and just 1 player caught out. Raphael, you got to be paying attention here. But he'll be bang on target with his shot. Shinshi to fall and the defenders to put the 2-0 on the board. Admittedly, right now, the way that this is going, I've got to give credit to where it's due. Team Stacey, actually, with a really solid start, where maybe we would have actually slightly preferred Team Yugi due to there being a heavier presence of immortal players. But clearly, for the get-go so far, admittedly, on the map pick of Team Stacey, that doesn't seem to matter so much just yet. For now, they hold on supremely so. They seem to be the masters of breeze.
Yeah, so far they have proven our predictions wrong, and I'm quite happy for that because I want to see those female players, you know, showing us the true colors, showing us what they are made of. Stacey, this is a really forward position, but thanks to Chamber's abilities, she can just jump out right away like this.
Oh, most certainly so. And now you see that Vibe Ball also coming into play, an important factor on Breeze in my eyes, but clearly once it fades, Stacey and Icy, they'll get vision. Actually, Icy coming through with that snake bite, I believe, to get the kill. Raphael's also following through with his Marshall. And for Team Mugi to have actually gotten Vandals on their hands, I'm not noticing much of it until Narsil here, showing the trigger discipline, very important. He's got to be where he finds the kill, connects to the second. Raphael's going down. Only Cake left, a tense 1v1 on the board. But Cake winning the battle with a stolen Vandal in play. 3-0 for Team Stacey, and their strong position is maintained.
Oh, holy moly, this was some kind of, you know, a full control Pasha biceps moment from Nashil there. So close to pull that clutch off. Really good play and the composure that he had during this play. Of course, still Team Stacey coming out on top in the bonus round. They didn't put that much, you know, resources into that round. I think they had Sheriff, they have 2 Marshals and 2 Spectres, so it's such a big win. And right from the get-go, Team Stacey putting a lot of numbers on the board and showing us how strong and how well prepared they've come to this tournament.
And that's exactly what we like to see. Plays that can actually give us the idea that they are well prepared, that they know what they're playing for, because that chance to go to the ever so beautiful city of Wrocław, got to admit, by the way, McVire, how's my pronunciation there? Because obviously you are actually
I've actually wanted to say that you nailed it. Yeah.
Well, I also want to give you credit, right, for this being your first English cast ever. You sound impeccable, my dear friend, so keep on rocking it. Just like Icy's rocking this B site for now, holding things off quite well, finding a kill. Narsil to go down, and Icy already having done quite a lot of damage as well. Notice that on the Team Mugi side players, how they're already severely tagged up. And, well, they've got Sky that can potentially come in with the heals, but even then there's a delay on that. So it's going to be a scary factor for them, and the time is coming into play as well. They've only got about 30 seconds left to get to the site, but that is what they're doing, putting a bit of speed behind them, where they'll be running into Stacey soon enough, and she is obviously going to be holding on for dear life. Look at it happen. Finds the first. but not the second. Teleporting away, Wombo on the return, but Raphaelis with the further pressure, and the spike still not put down. 15 seconds on the clock. It's now 11. Never, but Wombo having to come out of this mid angle, going into a 2-man hold. This will feel nigh impossible. Stacey, though, low HP, but perfectly baited. Wombo to fall, and Team Stacey to get the 4-0.
Well, usually during those eco rounds, the saving grace will be the ultimates. None of them were available for Mugi, I believe, or they just decided not to use them. So they couldn't count for much. Getting 2 kills and putting the spike down would be ideal, but they couldn't get the spike plant down. So usually what I like to do during those eco rounds, because, well, the story is, most of the time, 9 out of 10 times, it will be a round that goes the way of the team with the better equipment. So I like to get frisky, and you talking about Wrocław, I can give you some more mouthful words if you want to try the pronunciation out, but now let's get back to the game, because the B push, so far, working great for the Team Mugi. It might be the very first point on the board for them.
Oh, it's looking like it. They've gotten the spike down. They've got a 1-man advantage. That's also a scary factor. Aldrone coming into play now. Obviously, that one's been slightly nerfed in the last patch. Something to keep in mind as well when you're playing Sova next time. Also lasts, I believe, 3 seconds shorter in comparison. 10 down to 7 seconds. Now Haste pushing on up. Look at the aggressiveness that she's pushing down with an operator, but it works, although eventually she switches to the shorty to put in further impact. Trades coming through 1v2, but that spike keeps on ticking, and time is a factor. Will you be able to defuse this, Raphaelis? I'm not really that certain, as Wombo will go down regardless. No time for Raphael, and he will have to fall back, or she will have to fall back, I should say, with the attackers taking the first round in. Team Mugi, is this the start of something more, or is this merely a one-time setup? What do you think, McVire?
Well, I wouldn't get excited right away, because what happened basically was they got 2 entry kills on B side, and then putting the Viper's Pit down, it's probably a guaranteed win, because most of the time, especially on Breeze, if you get the control of the side, you get the plant, and you proceed to activate the Viper's Pit, well, this is the last nail in the coffin for the defenders. It's such a hard position to get it out of. You probably need some ultimates to work around with, like Sova's ultimate, like Hunter's Fury or something. So I wouldn't get excited yet, but it's a good sign that Mugi finally put their feet down and got one on the board for them.
I think it's always important, right, to be able to do that quite quickly and not delay too long. Here you see that dash change also coming through, but Nyaru was able to time it pretty well. Activated it as you go for a site push. That's about the right timing. It gives you 12 seconds to actually utilize it, which is more than enough. Nyaru absolutely popping off so far, having found 3 kills, and with that, taken not just the kills, but the entire round, in my opinion. Although eventually Haste will punish. Finds Nyaru and takes him down. Team Mugi losing out 1 player, but still pretty much having this round in the pocket. This is going to be 2-4. There's no way around it. And Team Stacey sadly losing out on not just Icy, but Haste as well. Not very advantageous for their economy, and I do believe that it was already kind of calling it close. So I wonder what this buy is going to be, and indeed, looking at it, some light armor popping up. Cake still investing in the Vandal. Haste then maybe going to do something similar. What would you do in this kind of situation when your buy is looking somewhat dire?
You see, the reason that they can play full this time around is they have access to 2 ultimates, which are basically the equivalent of a gun. You have access to 2 the Force as well as the Jet Sword, so they can still play full, and well, even missing those guns will not be that big of a deal. So of course, losing Op last round was a huge blow, but they can still show us the full buy here.
I want to see how it pans out. Maybe that we'll be surprised. Although currently Nyaru coming in again with a strong start, as he did in the previous round. That's a scary factor coming into play. You've got to be aware of that. Haste, however, maybe making the difference. That was bang on target. Wombo punishing for it, however. Cake also losing out. And Nyaru again with a triple. Eventually being found by Stacy. Stacy seemingly on a roll. Look at that tour de force coming into play. A 1v2 remains, though, and the location of Stacy revealed. Not ideal. Then a nasty old Tasmanian Tiger coming into play leads to only 5 HP being left, and that spike keeps on ticking. It's bound to explode soon enough, and this might not be a situation that's doable. And by the looks of it, Mugi, the leader of course, Team Mugi, going for the 3rd round and the final kill. 4-3. Team Stacy losing their grips ever so slowly.
Yeah, they'll have to go to Eco eventually. I think this is the round that they just don't have enough money to play full. Let's see. Of course, it's not. They even could afford the op. That's the strength. That's the strength of Chamber as well as Jet in the same composition. You can just somehow, cheat the economy because of those ultimates. Of course, they didn't manage to win the last round, but still had some impacts. Got some kills, So this time around, this will be the last call. If they lose this one, they will have to go finally to the eco round. And Nyaru, he's been just playing out of his mind during last few rounds.
I think that's been the changing factor for Team Mugi. Nyaru just popping off. And look at it again, right? Oh, I was about to say going for the 3rd, but never mind. You do need the bullets to get the kills or so, I've been told. See, I will absolutely admit, not the craziest player. I'm absolutely not highly ranked or anything, but I've got a good grip on talking about these things. And even I know that if you don't have the bullets, you can't get the kills. Narzil, though, finding the final one, 4-4 coming on the board. Team Mugi has found equilibrium, to use a fancy word for it. But it basically just means that they've both got the equal amounts of rounds. How do you feel about this one? Because I would be worried right now if I was in Team Stacy. You've just been put back massively. You had such a lovely 4-round streak going, and now it's gone.
Well, it doesn't work good on morale, that's for sure. But I wouldn't be worried that much yet, because this is Breeze. This is still a map where most of the time you will be winning the rounds on the attack side, majority of those rounds. So getting 4 on the board and having still chance to add some extra ones on top of that positions Stacy in a quite comfortable spot. Of course, we cannot forget that this is the map that they chose. So the enemy was the one that had the privilege of choosing the side where they started off, and it's of course the attack side. You want to get as much wins as possible. The Zika round, well, I don't see how this could work, especially after Team Stacy stacked B side and they completely missed the mark. They got 1 kill, but
look at that though. The 1 kill, that was all that was found. Team Mugi, they just came through and they destroyed that site. I've got no other words for it. The 5-4, boom, it's on the board. And I gotta say, that one, it happened in the blink of an eye. I was quickly putting my drink away. And there you have it already. Team Mugi just playing strong and continuing their streak. I would be really, really impressed, because you said it yourself as well, right, McVie? You said this was the map pick of Team Stacy, and that's absolutely true. But if Team Mugi are now able to turn this around really quickly, go for, dare I say, an 8-4, this might actually turn and give them the map pick that Team Stacy made, and then things get dangerous toward that second map. For now, though, Haste coming into play, but not prepared for Nyaru coming through with the Blade Storm. So 4v4. For now, equal scenario. Stacy, however, coming through. She holds things off quite well. Takes out the other figurehead on the map right now. Narzil, however, coming through to Stacy, refragged with a slight delay, and Wombo committing to the plant. Spike goes down, and it's a retake situation that Team Stacy finds. Not expecting Narzil this close by. There's a pretty good read coming through from him as well. Nyaru on a roll, still icy going down. And Narzil just finds that triple kill again, where in the past we've been seeing Nyaru do it. When he can't show up too much, it's Narzil that comes in and compensates where necessary. 6-4. Team Mugi, they're strong.
Nyaru and Narsil so far, two-man army that's leading Team Mugi to
Yeah,
win.
by far.
25 kills collectively if you add the scores of two of those players, and well, it looks really scary for Team Stacy because they started off really well. Those rounds weren't close really. They got the bonus round quite convincingly. It was of course Nashil. He was trying to pull off the 1v3 clutch, but if they played a little bit better around it, this would be such a confident, such a strong round from the part of Team Stacy that I was actually thinking that they could be sweeping the Team Mugi right away, but not really.
Down B.
Doesn't quite look like it now, does it? KO gone down. Hunter's Fury coming through from Rafaeli. And look at this, the Hunter's Fury trade. Oh dear, that's anything but favorable. Wombo on a roll, what a triple. And then that Hunter's Fury is just the cherry on top. It's Team Mugi, they are on a roll, and we're already at the final round of the first half. It definitely feels as if we've entered a next gear with the way that Team Mugi has turned things around and completely started, well, dare I say, dunking on Team Stacy right now, because the way that they've grabbed this streak, 7 rounds, by the way. Team Mugi, I wouldn't be surprised if they make it that 8-round streak. I said it half-heartedly. I didn't think it was possible, but by the looks of it, Team Mugi can actually prove it. Ultimate coming through right now from IC, and an ultimate in return. The Seeker's coming into play. Tasmanian Tiger, yep. Oh, you said that right. That's IC to fall, and that is Team Mugi again with a good entry. But there's still one more line of defense. Stacy standing at the ready. She can still make that impact. Finds just about no one. She will go down by the hands of Narsil. And now that ultimate also comes into play, denying vision. Haste, however, finding, also putting the Blade Storm back into the game. Spike, however, has been planted. And look at all the ultimates coming in. Nyaru finding a kill with the Vandal. And so much vision still denied. You see Haste looking to get a pick somewhere on the side. But Nyaru's in the flank. And that's a factor coming through. Sure, detected by the KO, but still finds the shot. That's a fantastic triple to end things off with. That was some clean gunplay. And that's Team Mugi deservedly getting the 8-4 on that. Deary me. Whew.
And you
How?
know what the worst part is? That Team Mugi didn't even need Nyaru on the side to get entry. They put the spike down, they got the entry frags without him using any of his abilities. He was just on the flank during the whole round. It's 8-4, and well, you dared to say the score, and this time around, this was in the caster curse, because last time that we talked about Nyaru and started, saying how good he is, that he missed this whole clip and didn't manage to get the kill the moment that his bullets just
Missed the mark, I suppose
missed the
you could say.
mark. Yeah. Pistol
That
round,
happens sometimes.
That is a turning point. If Team Stacy wants to get back into this game, they have to win the pistol round. If they lose it, all the momentum is on the side of Mugi. They could extend their lead to 10-4. And well, finally some form of answer. 2 kills for them, and it looks so much better.
And would you look at that? This is exactly the kind of start we want to see from Team Stacy. As currently, they are in a solid position. And I think that this could be exactly what they need to turn things back around. They also managed, has to be said, to get both pistol rounds. Claim this one as well. And can make that mark. Getting the both of them. That's always, statistically speaking, a very, very good factor. Although right now, the way it's looking, Team Stacy, they've still got something to prove. I am a little bit worried, and I'm still somewhat holding off. I want to see this performance be extended. And if they can keep this now, if they can hold on to this 6-8, 7-8, then things might be looking a bit better.
What really baffles me is how is Team Stacy able to perform in such a great manner in those first rounds, and they look like a complete team. This pistol round was really impressive, and then afterwards they just fall victim to all of those Nyaru and Nashil duels. This round, without much of a history, Nyaru and the rest of his team, they didn't have big guns. I think they've only upgraded to a couple of sheriffs, so they could be looking trying to get some kills on the board to make it harder on the economy of the enemies. But besides that, not much else to do. And just getting 1 kill, it will be not enough. Team Stacy winning this round quite convincingly, and they should be happy because they saved 4 guns, so the bonus round looks promising.
Most certainly so. And this is the kind of thing that has to be repeated. This gets the momentum, although now they're going to have to compete with Team Mugi and a fully fledged buy. We can already see the Vandals hovering above the players, and that's a danger, that's a threat that's coming into play, and that's something I wonder how Team Stacey will be able to contend with, because currently, well, they might be feeling it absolutely so. They might have the best possible gear, like HyperX gear, !HyperX in the chat. But even then, when it comes down to that skill, when it comes down to that weapon advantage, Team Mugi is going to be way stronger in that sense. So let's take a look at how this site execute will go. Narsil, the only one responsible for holding things off, finds Cake. And will he find many more by the looks of it? On a roll, can take out Haste just as much. And there we go, Narsil with the triple when it's necessary. And Team Mugi, all they seemingly needed was a pair of Vandals. Now they've got that, boom, they've already eliminated 3 out of 5, the majority of Team Stacy, and they're looking to get their 9th round, their first on the second half, especially with Narsil showing the aggressiveness, ace potential, dare I say it. Now with the Tasmanian Tiger coming through, Wombo steals the ace, but Narsil still gets the 4K, and that also deserves some credit. Very well done. And Team Mugi, I think if this round had arrived a lot later, then there would have been a solid chance for Team Stacy to still take this map. But now, with Team Mugi coming so quickly on the return, I wonder if this isn't too early.
Well, Team Stacy had a good idea during the last round, because when you looked at the minimap, they were trying to sell the A hit while 3 of the remaining players were attacking B side. So Nashil was all alone there, and just getting those kills with his amazing shooting abilities was crucial to winning this round. Yaru, on the other side, he somehow manages to get the opening kill, and see how much control of the map right now Team Mugi has because of the first kill. The enemies, the Team Stacy, they cannot approach A main again because just recently one of them died there. So basically they are made to attack B side, which is exactly what Team Mugi wants. They are ready, they are calm and collected, they're waiting for the enemies to attack on this side.
And I think that'll happen soon enough. You see Team Stacy, they're setting themselves up, getting closer and closer. Abilities coming through as well. Mugi, however, finding more on the defense. Haste also going down. And as we see a 3v5 situation appearing on the board, Mugi then finding the next. Even Stacy's got to believe it. It's only Icy. She is the first one to find a return. But the situation is, for now, 2v3. Advantage on the side of Team Mugi. But then Icy balances things out. Look at that triple. Still, got to be wary. That trap from Chamber came through. Wombo finding damage like that and still holding onto the site. 10 seconds coming into play. Ult being there, but Wombo finding that spike carrier right when it was needed, and now showing the aggressiveness. There's no time. Icy can't return that, and it will be Team Mugi on the double digits. A solid performance and a nice attempt at the end. It was a close call, but it will still go the ways of Team Mugi.
I felt like they started playing a little bit too frisky, you know, Mugi wanting to get on the board, getting some other kills. Like, in this kind of situation, you're supposed to hold angles, don't lose guns, not give the opponent any chance of coming back to the round. Team Stacy almost pulled it off, but crucial position from, I believe it was Wombo, who stopped the initial spike plant and then killed the Viper that was activating her Viper's speed. Right now, strong fights over A main control.
And that A main control, an important factor. Some aggressiveness shown, but it works well. And Yaru on a roll again, finding a double so far. And almost dare say that there's potential for a triple right here. As currently Nyaru pushes further ahead, the dash will be wasted, so it seems like, and that's that change coming into play. As currently Nyaru indeed will get the triple, nails down the spike. That's the important factor. And Stacy, she is the last woman standing, looking around, but not having spike control is such an important factor. That headhunter, it's a lovely type of pistol to have, a little bit like a sheriff, but it doesn't work that well. And I've got to say, Team Mugi, they're making a quick play, and I'm sure that they're very happy being in their lovely country of Greece, but at this rate, they'll be in Poland soon enough, I dare say.
This will be a little change of the weather. I'm sorry to say that, but in Poland, we don't have this many sunny days, and Wrocław is a long way from seaside, but it's still a really nice and lovely place, so we'll welcome any Greek players there with open arms and Polish legendary hospitality. Well, this game is kind of running away from Team Stacy. They've picked Greece, they started it off really well, but they've lost control after Nyaru and Nashil just, you know, started playing in beast mode.
Absolutely. Beast mode seems to be activated, and as I said before, right, it's the fact... Where did that... I'm not sure if that was the right place for the snake bite there, but let's just pretend that didn't happen. So right now, I think that beast mode is doing so much. Luckily, though, Raphael, she can show some difference. Shinshi to go down, and Team Stacy to grab the return. As right now, there's that one advantage, that one woman advantage, I should say. Stacy, however, tagged up. Sova as well. Wombo now coming into play. That tour de force can be really challenging. But the location is revealed. For now, there's strong side control that Team Stacy can claim for B. Players still coming in somewhat later to support, but they're on their way, and that's what matters. Wombo has to try, but he has to deal with a tour de force of his opponents. As currently he pushes closer and closer, and the spike is ticking down. Eventually they'll set themselves up, but no kills found right away. Icy trying to deny vision where possible, trying to deny positioning. Stacy coming through though, Narsil to fall. This 2v4 should seal the deal. This spike defuse doesn't look to happen anytime soon. As a matter of fact, it's Stacy. She is popping off, finding 3 kills so far, and only 1 player being left. Icy finishing the job. And I think that they won't be on time. They will lose Cake. Down she will go. But it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, well, right now, keeping a good economy is not that important for Team Stacy because they will always have to play full. So basically, losing a gun or two doesn't mean much. Yeah, this is a slow-mo replay of the snakebite that wasn't supposed to go there. So basically, Team Stacy standing on their last legs, but holding on. It's not the end of this map. They could still pull it off. It will require a lot of rounds to win, and not many they can make one mistake if they want to go to overtime, because in this format, in this BO3, we will play out the overtime. But still,
yes,
not the perfect scenario.
Anything but, in my eyes. For now, it's a trade fest. So many players returning on one another, but eventually one clear result being there. Wombo, though, look at that collateral. You lucky man. And that could have just turned the entire round. Team Mugi, they return it to a 2v2. Wombo's got the read, finds the next chamber, but Stacy, she's faster. She's really good on that read, actually. That was a collateral. You can apparently shoot through that stack of bricks. I didn't know that either. And it's that kill that sets up the final one by Icy and Team Stacy to grab round number 8. Very, very well done. And currently that's Team Stacy extending. Maybe just holding on for so long that overtime won't actually be necessary.
Who knows? This might be a start of a really impressive comeback. Wombo doing the work with his op, but then missing the most important shot of the round in the firefight with Stacy. Let's see if Team Stacy can switch it up, maybe surprise the enemies yet again, because so far they've been pushing. It's not such a sophisticated method that they're using. It's just they're winning the firefights, which is really important. Nyaro, even though he's revealed by Sova, he still manages to get one of those kills, but missing all the rest of his knives, has no access to his ultimate anymore.
Absolutely not. It's the Hunter's Fury that finds Mugi. Nyaru, though, on that defense, takes out the spike plants. Shinji and Narsil also coming through, and look at this. Only Cake left at this point. Won't win the second fight. Just 2 caught out. And that's Team Mugi. They put themselves on the map point. Not the end of the world yet. We're in a best of 3. Team Stacy, they can easily return on the next map. Icebox, by the way, for the people that are thinking, you know, I want to cool down a little bit. I need to take a breather. I can't handle this hot weather. And I'd actually love it if the people in chat, because I can see, I've been talking to them a little bit in between, you know, whilst you were doing your beautiful analysis, Magvire. What's the weather like in Greece? Tell us. I do wonder. For now, though, let's take a look at how the weather will be for Team Mugi, because they could be finishing things out on this first map in just the 1 round. It's a scary, scary proposition. Yaru, that first event, dash being activated. Oh, there could be a lineup here, but that read is decent. Rafaelis, though, with the return haste, finding something, but the Hunter's Fury finds the double. And that does so much. That pushes the advantage back to Team Mugi. And oh, dearie me. I'm not sure how favorable this is going to look. This is a tough fight to take. The spike is close, but keep mind of the Sova. The way that he's rotating around, he could be that surprise flank. And that's a scary, scary situation. Spike, though, will be planted, will be initiated, put down. And that 2v3 scenario remains as the spike keeps on ticking. Oh dear, where is this going to go? Cake, he's looking around, he's waiting. But eventually that retake is going to have to kick off.
Oh,
and
flank,
right now with
the flank
haste
is crucial right now from Shinji.
Yeah, that's going to be the problem, but Haste holds it off. Shinji goes down. Cake, good on that, and Haste with the triple. Boom! The round is secured. Team Stacy, they're holding on. Team Yugi, they're held off.
They are still in the game. Well, and really what surprised me was Nyaru standing out in the open, daring his opponents to take up the fight. Look at this, he's being, you know, he's being traced by the Wrecking Bolt and not running away, not hiding. Right now, Team Yugi feeling really confident, but losing yet another round. They still need to add 1 on the board to finish it up. Reese, of course, being the pick of Team Stacy, it's really important for Mugi to win this round, to win this map. They will have an upper hand coming into Icebox. Well, and it looks like it's such a good start. Nyaru feeling confident, pushing in.
Oh, but look at this. Nyaru on that lurk. That was dirty, but it works a charm. Wombo finds Cake, and it's a 1v3. Rafaelis, can you actually do this? As currently a 1v3 remains. Wombo goes to the fight, teleports away at the right time. And it's a 1-minute timer, but Narsil on that flank, and there you've got it. Team Mugi, they take the first map. They do a stellar job of it. It got close at times. I've got to admit that, right? We can't get around that fact. But Team Stacy, they do lose out on their map pick right here, and that's a bit of a sorry state of affairs, I'm afraid.
Yeah, the start was really promising. 4 rounds on the board instantly. I was really impressed with how well Team Stacy managed to compose those rounds. But then losing 8 rounds in a row was just too much. Even after winning the pistol round in the second half, they couldn't recover. The game was close, but I expected much more after this promising beginning. And of course, Breeze being the pick of Team Stacy, now they have to go to Icebox. Just theoretically, it's supposed to be the map pick from the other side. So Team Mugi, well, 2-0. That's what we predict. That's what we think. Well, you know, talking from my experience, even though the team picked some map, it doesn't mean that they are going to win it. Like, right from the get-go, right? Especially after the last international tournament in LAN. So I'm still hopeful. I still believe that Team Stacy can pull it off and get back into the game because I really want to see Bind. But if Nyaru and excuse me, the
One enemy
could you
Oh, of course.
and Narsil,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Narsil.
Narsil
If they
indeed
can-
comes on through.
if they continue to put up such numbers, it will be just so hard for Team Stacy to do anything about it.
Yeah, that's kind of the real factor that came into play, right? Narsil, along with Nyaru, just popping off time and time again, going for those crazy plays and finding impact in ways that you just can't imagine. And that is solid. That does so much for the team. And that does create a scenario in which you can't deny the fact that the showing is good. That the likes of course, right now, well, Team Mugi, they're just too good. Mugi even, they cannot be contended. And I really hope that there will be that reverse sweep, that there will be that set or that, well, upset really, and that Team Stacy can find things back on the second map. Before we can go to that second map, though, we will go to an intermission first, where we can take a bit of a breather. You guys can take a moment to put !HyperX in the chat and check out that command, and we can go hydrate, have a bit of water, and then get ready for that second map. So don't go anywhere too far. We'll be going to Icebox in a moment. See you in a bit.
Hey, chat.
We promised that Wrocław would wait for you, and we would meet again soon. We always keep our promises. The time has just come. There is so much to discover, to see, to experience. Make good use of your time. It would be great to see you again. We are waiting for you whenever you are ready. Let's meet in Wrocław.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to, of course, the Streamers League, where we're catching some beautiful, beautiful streamers actually facing off against each other in nothing other than Valorant. We've already had a beautiful first map to kick things off with, where, of course, I and the ever so beautiful Magvire here right next to me caught Team Mugi really, really proving themselves and putting down an insane streak on that first half to eventually make it true and a reality. They took that map on the second half, and they did it in quite an impressive fashion, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a really tough loss for Team Stacy. Of course, their map peak, they've lost it, started off really well, but then losing 8 rounds in a row, that wasn't enough. Right now, we are moving to Icebox, and I was wondering if Icy is going to, get some kind of buff because he's playing on Icebox. Of course, you were wondering what's the weather like in Greece, and I'm going to tell you it's completely opposite of the one that's going to be on the Icebox. After the recent changes to this map, I think it's much more balanced. It's not, that much of an open attack-sided map where you would get the spike down and then proceed to play in a retake or after plan fashion. It's not that boring, but still, it didn't change that much. I'm curious what approach will both teams go into the Icebox, because you can see many different agents in terms of the compositions for this map.
Absolutely. I think when it comes to those agents, we can most likely expect a Viper. To me, that still seems like a really solid and a pretty much go-to pick when it comes to Icebox. Just always comes up. That Viper wall is way too strong. Maybe pair that up with a Sage as well. I really like the combinations that you can put down in that sense. Both of them providing some sort of wall. I mean, we all know that default Sage wall, right? When you are moving toward the B site to get that spike down and just have it in the pocket. That already does so much on your attacker side. And I think with that coming into play, there should be great potential for that attacking side still to find a lot of advantage in the beginning. But let's hope that in this case, it might be more for Team Stacy, and that Team Mugi will have to give off a little bit more in that first half. Maybe also to create that opportunity of this map going the way of Team Stacy instead of Team Mugi. Although, once again, I will reiterate, this is the map pick coming through from Team Mugi. So he is the one that is favored in that sense. We can't get around that.
But do we really need to talk about the maps if we are looking at how Nashil and Yaru are playing? I think you could give them any kind of map, and if they are performing like they did on Breeze, this will have this. Well, it won't matter at all, right? So basically, if they continue to perform in such a fashion on the second map, I think this series goes 2-0 for the Team Mugi.
Oh, it seems like a bit of a harsh reality, right, that we are looking at, and that is something that could most certainly happen. Mugi's team, the performance is impeccable, and I think you saw it as well, right? Nyaru, I remember at certain times lurking in a smoke on the site, you know, and making those kind of crazy plays where he completely anti-stratted or completely surprised his opponent. If he keeps pulling off things like that, then... well, I think Team Stacy will just keep being caught out, and that is the scary factor, right? If you keep trying, but every time your opponent thinks up this crazy tactic or does something that just makes you go like, wait, where did you just come from? Then that will keep getting you caught out, and that is a danger that is most certainly going to come into play against Team Stacy.
And if you think about it, it's such a hard combination to play against, because on one hand, you have Jet that is playing in defense side pretty much everywhere. She could surprise you playing aggressively in A main, or maybe picking up the op and trying to get somebody from the B side. And if you put the Nashil on the other side of the map, he's able to pull up his own weight, basically. So he's doing a lot of crazy things on his own. If you have those two strong players on the opposite sides of the map, then basically it's really hard for you to choose which side of the map you want to attack, because one way or the other you have to come up against one of those players who are playing really well. Let's see which agents are going to be picked up. I think our predictions will be quite likely to happen. Of course, Chamber being one of the being really popular pick on the icebooks after he was released.
He's solid.
Yeah, nothing surprising really.
No, I think we're seeing a complete mirror as well coming through, right? The Sage, the Chamber, the Sova, Viper, and of course Jet. There's nothing new here. I'm glad that Jet is still being played as much, even with that dash change that's come through. People still seeing the power of Jet and realizing that it's just going to take a bit more skill now to play, right? You have to keep in mind, okay, that dash right now, you've just got to time it better. You've got to calculate that in and figure, okay, I'm going to use it now. I'm going to activate it, and I'm going to calculate or guesstimate that within the next 12 seconds, there will be enemies that I have to dash away from or either dash towards for some sort of surprise push. I think that this is absolutely, as you said yourself, no big surprise in the agent selector. Sage Viper also, as I mentioned, walls, literally, walls are just going to be the powerful factor coming in for Icebox.
Well, the only thing that I would like to see come in play during this icebox is maybe KO instead of Sage, because after the recent changes, you can argue that Sage isn't needed on this map, especially on B side, because of the changes to the box. You can plant the spike behind the box and it won't get penetrated. So that was the main usage of Sage in terms of B attacks, especially during the attack side. Of course, you can argue on A side you still need you still need Sage as well inside the tube if you want to put the spike down in the tube, or maybe if you want to catch the backside away from the planter. So I can see why Sage is so popular. Of course, her being a simple character, bringing a lot of utility into the team, such as heal, such as revive. So if you're not feeling comfortable playing KO on this map, of course, go for Sage. It's not a bad choice. And well, both teams keeping it simple. I like it. I want to see where it goes.
Absolutely right. Simple sometimes simply works. And speaking of simple, by the way, don't forget exclamation mark Hyperx in the chat. And that gear is also just plug and play and go. Works solidly and works a charm. And currently, let's take a look and see if these streamers, if these players will also be making the best out of their HyperX gear. For now, some initial engagements coming through. Stacy holding off with the Headhunter, finding Mugi, and that spike goes down right away. For now, still control being held on the site, but a lot of vision being denied by the attacking team.
Yeah, if you remember, Robert, 2 out of 2 pistol rounds won by Team Stacy during the first map. So far, it's starting off great again. Stacy just picking up so many kills with the Headhunter. She's the best example of how Chambers should be played in the pistol rounds.
Yeah, and I think that's also a fact, right? The Headhunter, it can be so good. So let's keep an eye out for how Stacy will move further on, as currently there's still a lot of delay coming through, but finally, Shinshi will commit to that plant. Cake, however, coming through with the defense, Team Stacy making that solid start, setting themselves up to maybe win those pistol rounds again. Wombo, though, look at that Headhunter, comes through with a double, and Stacy will say, I can play that game just as well. Nyaru, however, on that return, the Sheriff kicking in. That's a 1v2, and that's a spike staying its place. Haste feeling like there's an impossible task ahead of her, as currently tries to go around the corner, but Shinshi will finish the job. 1-0 for the attacking side. Team Mugi take the pistol.
Take the pistol, and if you look at it, Nyaru, he also wanted to get into the mix with Sheriff. He cannot afford, he cannot afford, he doesn't have any ability to buy Headhunter. Of course, he's playing other agent, but he still wants to be the part of the team, the part of a party. So he picks up the Sheriff, getting 2 kills, pretty much seals the deal for Team Mugi. And finally, they get on the board with the pistol round. Now they can get the momentum. Now they can get rolling and try to finish this game 2-0.
Indeed, and that 2-0, well, if Team Mugi can hold things on, that is very potential. As currently, Mugi's also found that first kill. It's the attacking side. Still not going too wild after that initial kill, however. Look coming through, Stacy trying to find Headhunter, not really connecting right away. Icy coming through further, actually taking out Narsil. Team Stacy setting themselves up good for the return, and Stacy, case in point, she's also trying to find that next target. Now Mugi committing to the plant. Won't be taken out right away. Can survive, put it down, but look at this. Stacy with the surprise element, however, not finding the success straight away. Luckily, the classic is still there. Low HP. Icy also with the 3 kills and just sticking it. Why not? It works, right? Mugi off the mark. I wanted to say, but Mugi popping up, finding that triple. And Kate quickly tapping the bomb. Mugi, they're winning the battle. Look at this. The ace clutch. How do you do it? Mugi, that was insane.
That was completely crazy from Mugi. He's the sole survivor of his team, 1v5, and he pulls off such a clutch in a really important round for his team. Oh my god. Mugi.
That was beautiful.
That was sexy, yeah.
Absolutely, and you saw the attempt. Look at that.
You can see the tension. Look how chaotic this everything feels and looks like, because he knows that there's just so many opponents that he has to fight with, but he managed to pull it off. Nyaru just dodging the bullet there.
I wonder really how these next few rounds are going to pop off, because Team Mugi, if they keep pulling off performances like this, it's just going to be way too solid. Mugi, however, now the wall not coming into play that much. Icy case in point, time and time again, that solid factor for the B site. By the way, by far the preferred site from Team Mugi. You can't deny that either. Now, however, a 2v, make it a 1v3 remains. Cake finishes the job. And Team Stacy, they finally find their first round. Didn't take too long. And being this quick on the return means that there's great potential. Team Stacy, I think that they can now come back on time, and we won't be seeing that crazy 8-round streak coming up again, I think, in favor of Team Mugi.
So, you see, Robert, I was about to ask, did anyone mention to Team Mugi that Icebox consists actually of 2 sides? They don't have to go B side all the time. However, so far it's been working really well for them.
Absolutely. I mean, time and time again, right? It's that side that I'd really like to see how much of an impact that has at times as well. For now, it'll be that, well, obviously default splits, and I wonder if maybe currently Team Mugi can find the best out of this attacking side. Ultimate coming through, however, I see always a solid factor for the B side.
He had to give up the position on yellow because he was being traced by Silver, but playing with around his ultimate still gives him a lot of power and information in terms of B side hold. So basically, he will be the big challenge for the enemy to overcome now, and it might be just too tough for them because they only have pistols.
Get out of my way.
Exactly. I see now coming through, finding a kill once more. Raphael is only one able to return for now. Haste, though. Look at this trigger discipline. Catches out both Wombo and Mugi. A 2-2 to be created. Equilibrium. And Team Stacy, well, maybe, just maybe, creating that chance, putting themselves further ahead. And I think putting themselves in a position where things can go a bit better for them. I really, really want to see it go the way of that free map situation, right? I want to go all the way to a decide.
Yeah, I can completely agree with you. So basically, Team Mugi, they did not get a single kill during the last round, but they still managed to force enemy to use the Viper's ultimate, which often can be, you know, a free ticket to the rounds win. So I think they could be quite happy with the result of the last round. But right now, Icy getting 2 kills on the board. He managed, I think, to collapse at least 3 of them. Wombo trying to walk it to work this in the favor of Team Mugi, but the only one kill in retaliation might not be enough. Icy fishing for the ace.
But it won't be found. Sadly, Haste denies that chance. See, sometimes I really wonder, right, come on, people, if your teammates got on a 4K, at least give them a shot at the ace, right? Or is that just me? I mean, how are you, right? If you're playing, don't you give your friends a chance to go for that ace if they're already on a 4K?
Well, if my friend is a beautiful girl, then of course I'll let her get a shot on the 5th.
Wow.
If it's a good friend of mine, I will never let him get the ace, you know?
Wow. Oh dear, that's a clear bias coming through over here.
You want to play? Let's play.
Well, fair enough.
Well.
I guess I'm a bit kinder in that sense, right? I just say, fine, you know, I respect it. I grant people that ace.
No, being completely honest, if I'm playing ranked, I will always let my teammates do whatever they please, because that's the best thing you can do. You just want them to be happy, because if they start raging, then the game is probably over.
Absolutely true. For now, Spike does get planted down. Mugi, oh, this res is excellent. That's a really good play. It's a 4v4 right now, and Team Mugi holding on. I really like the usage of this ultimate, but that actually solid wall in return. Sadly, though, doesn't account for Shinshi, and one hell of a Hunter's Fury. However, this is being stuck. Stacy finds it. Shinshi not on time with the kill. Even though it's a triple, the far stronger act was committed by Stacy. The 4-2 on the board. And look at that. They are rocking the advantage. They are rocking the defending side advantage.
Oh, that was such a disaster. Because ultimately, Team Mugi had a great idea how to play this round. They vaulted with Viper, they vaulted with Sova, so basically they've had all the pieces required for the win. But they forgot to break the damn wall. And I believe that Team Stacy got the half defuse, and then it was possible for the last guy that was staying alive, who was or girl or gal in this case, Stacy, to get the defuse down.
for now, a new chance on the board. Haste popping off. Stacy finding the next few. And eventually, Haste coming through with the Blade Storm. It's a good start again. It's another excellent round that Team Stacy will find. A flawless one, as a matter of fact, with Cake grabbing the last kill. 5-2, and Team Stacy on a roll so far on the defending side. You actually prefer either side on Icebox? Do you say, I far out prefer the attacking side, or are you more of a defending side player?
Well, when it goes to a, let's say, a lower tier of gameplay or just in general, a lower level of Valorant, I would always say that defend this side is better because you don't have to come up with ideas how to break the defense. You basically just hold angles, you use abilities. It's much easier to figure it out on your own. In terms of Icebox, I feel like it's much more balanced due to recent changes, but I would slightly favor the defensive side still, especially with the addition of Chamber. He just gives you such an edge in terms of playing aggressively and not being punished because of his abilities.
I think that really you've got to time it well when it comes to that ability usage. You've got to know when to put it into play. Case in point right now with that res coming through, for example. You've got that safe area so you can do it. You know that you can actually recover that team member to go for that far stronger retake. Shinshi waiting. There is a recon bolt coming through, but nobody will be found by it, I believe. Because right now, Wombo, look at that reflex. Look at that return. Spike still ticking down. Shinshi, will you be able to hold this off? Just misses the shot. Icy comes on through. Raphael also finding a kill. And that's a defuse being stuck quite quickly. Mugi trying, but not finding. And that will be the 6th round already for Team Stacy. They are on a roll right now.
Yeah, and if you take a closer look, what's really happening is just Team Mugi missing their chances, missing their shots. Those are easy shots. Those are easy situations where they should be winning. If they get the previous round, it's 5-3. If they get like 1 or 2 kills, there's a chance that they won the last round as well, and it's and the game is tied. So basically, this time around, Nashil and Nyaru, they are nowhere to be found. 1 kill, 3 kills on the side of those guys, who has been performing exceptionally well during the last round, during the last map.
Most certainly so. And I think that just a performance like that returning now is a great look for them, because we are in a best-of-3 situation. That is important to be able to get those rounds in. For now, though, it will look like Team Mugi find that return. Nyaru coming through, taking out Cake, and a 5v2 being on the board for a mere moment until Icy pops off just a little bit, finds that kill. But Shinshi's plan can't be denied. Surprise element, perhaps. Indeed, it will be there. Raphael is also falling. This is a situation in which Icy is better off just leaving this what it is, taking that operator with her and hoping for better days in the next round.
I think he actually activated the Viper speed just to save the op. Did he do that? I don't know. I don't remember if it was like played.
It looks like it was activated just now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a bold move. Maybe a bit of a waste, if you ask me.
Well, he really wanted to save that orb. It's such a crucial part of the defense, and especially lately, if you've paid attention to how the international tournaments went, teams that were not using op, they were missing out on so much potential, especially on the defender side. Right, so it's really important to have your sniper rifle and the player that is using operator, you know, ready for the action. Haste so far, he's been doing okay, 8 kills on his side, but it is really okay, let's get back to the game, because
let's take a look at the Hunter's
action,
Furies.
Yeah.
Look at them popping on off. Haste getting that operator into play, as you mentioned. Nyaru will fall. It's a Sage Wall to pop off for a moment there. That's going to provide some protection. And Ace has got to be wary, getting caught out somewhat. But for now, finding the players. At least you would have said so. Mugi, though, coming on through. Nyaru being rezzed. Stacy trying to be that next line of defense. Cake, however, will be the player in question. Narsil to fall. And with 1 minute on the clock, you've got Hayes popping off further. Stacy coming on through. Look at these ladies making it through. Team Stacy absolutely destroying. And the 7-3 being on the board. Icy far out on top on the scoreboard. But altogether, really, a solid performance from the entire team, I think.
But it really is Icy. This is the player to highlight. His B holds were so consistent that Team Mugi, they've decided to switch the things up and maybe start going towards A, which is not working out for them great at all. This round, they've had ults. They started to, they've tried to speed things up, but it didn't work. Right now, it looks like this approach might be more promising because Team Stacy is nowhere to be found near the A side. It's just Cake who is holding this really defensive angle, and maybe we'll try to slow the offensive down.
And I think that that's currently the best course of action. Keeping that offensive on the down low, making sure that Team Mugi can't find too many entries. Because every time that they do, every time that they can get that spike down, a dangerous situation is created. You see it popping off again. Icy, though, good on the refrag. And Cake, great on the follow-up. Makes for a 3v4, makes for a tough situation to hold. Wombo to the force for a moment right there. Hayes, however, pushing further pressure on with the shorty. And Icy committing to the defuse, however, a risk being right there, a half being found. Now Wombo's tour de force comes into play. And the headhunter follows. For now, though, oh, Rafaeli's right when it's needed. She will hit the shot. Wombo to go down. And Team Stacy with the 8th round. Are we expecting a 9-3 on the board? And then perhaps that fated 9-3 curse coming into play? What do you think?
Oh no, the curse 9-3. I really want to avoid that. Well, it's yet another round where Team Mugi, they lose in a clutch situation. They don't bring the firepower into the mix. This is what is lacking so far. This could be a completely different game, a completely different result if they just put some of those shots on the target. Like 8-3 doesn't really represent how close those rounds are. But good news for Mugi, if they start shooting, if they start hitting the marks, they will be able to pull this game back into their favor, like they're doing just now. Coach Shinji with yet another one on his side, and it's 5-3. No ultimates allowed, no ultimates available. And Wombo, he just makes it look easy.
Absolutely. So Nyaru comes through with the finisher. It's a flawless round, but that doesn't matter as much because obviously this one, the last one of the first half. We move to the second half where we see an 8-4 score. It's a complete reversal. We saw the exact same thing on the previous map, but in that case it was in favor of Mugi. Now it's been turned around and you've got the 8-4 in favor of Stacy. So logically speaking, you would say that it's going to be Stacy that should then take this next map. But I'm still holding on a little bit. I'm still somewhat precarious. I'm wondering how or where this is going to go, as the second half can still go in a completely different direction. But may the best win. And let's hope that maybe now it will be Stacy finding that strong performance on the second half and being able to push this further.
The real question, and the thing that I'm looking forward the most, is how will Team Stacy perform on the attack side, especially during those rounds where they have big guns. This is important because even though they've managed to win 8 rounds, if they don't have a good structure, if they don't have a good tactic to finish it off, this result might be just a few rounds shy. Mugi starting off with a kill, Nashil adding some of his own medicine, and it looks like Team Mugi with an advantage.
And I think that it's exactly an advantage like that, which will be great for their start on the second half. Stacy, though, grabbing a certain amount of control. Question is if this will be anticipated, because you've got that chamber, you've got Wombo pushing on up. And sure, Shinji can be right there for the refrag, although it looks like Stacy's got the read on this, realizes that high ground is a dangerous position. A 3v3 is created, and Shinji will be tossing out that recon bolt, trying to find Stacy, though, coming through further, but Mugi on a roll. Beautiful performance with the Sheriff to get a double, and only Stacy being left tries to find with the classic, but oh dear, that's a bit of a struggle. And only 50 HP left. This angle's perfectly held, but Mugi not directly connecting. It's a battle of the team captain. It's a battle of the streamers. Stacy putting further pressure on. 8 seconds on the clock. Has got to commit to that spike plant soon enough. And it looks like Mugi's got to watch out. 2 seconds. Play it safe. But there's Mugi escaping. Look at this. Stacy will get the 4K, but what am I seeing? Wow. That, yeah. I'm speechless.
What is seen cannot be unseen. What was that round? Complete madness. Mugi just running around. By the way, Sage with her wall ready, as well as small shields in the first round, and the Sheriff that she took off the dead body must be the most scary thing that I've ever seen, at least in terms of the pistol rounds in Valorant. And then, even though Mugi completely whiffed all of his shots, he still managed to win the round for his team. Some luck. I think that's what Team Mugi really needed during this, this map. And finally, luck is on their side.
Absolutely. Now a great start made by Team Mugi, Shinji, Mugi himself also finding that impact. It's only Stacy that's able to return somewhat. They'll keep trying, but with just 34 HP left, this is undeniably tough. And that pressure is mounting immediately. You can look at Team Mugi and the players getting on that hunt. And Shinji finding the final frag, 6-8. And Team Mugi, they make a start on this second half, which is anything but favourable for Team Stacy right now. Also, it has to be mentioned, of course, Team Mugi, they also managed to win both pistol rounds. So it's funny how things have been completely reversed. On the first map on Breeze, we saw Stacy getting both pistol rounds, and Mugi with a really favoured half, 8-4 for him. Now it was turned around, and you see Mugi winning both pistol rounds, but Stacy with the really favoured half and getting the 8-4. Crazy how that works, and really interested to see how the rest of this second half will develop.
Okay, the first full round on the side of Team Stacy. They have access to guns, they have full buy. Let's see how it unfolds, because it's really important to see if they have some kind of plan prepared. And I believe that they should. They are a professional female team playing in Game Changers, so Icebox, they should be no stranger to that map! Oh my god, Nyaru! He was such a god during the first map, and right now he's missing the freest kills of his life.
Absolutely, so that is a tough proposition. Mugi committing somewhat to the defuse, but notably being wary. Wombo, however, finding further pressure. Rafaelis to go down, and now Shinji showing up that pressure. But look at the way that the defuse is used as bait, and how everybody is eliminated. That was a really nice play. You had everyone focusing on that diffuser, everyone focusing on Mugi. And that just completely distracted them from the sideline, from the, well, not flank really, but the sideline that appeared, and that led to some beautiful kills being found. 7-8. Team Mugi currently solid performance and set to get the 8-8. We're moving back to an equalized scoreline.
Yeah, and this is the power of the Icebox in defense. When you don't have a really good composed plan, it's hard, especially when you're missing the shots. And I believe that for
Let's play.
Side of Team Stacy, they were giving a chance during the first half. So many situations that could have gone either way were actually won by Team Stacy. And finally for Team Mugi, the luck is starting to smile towards them.
Teleport's ready.
And it's a scary factor. It's a 3v3 now that's coming through. Icy can commit to that spike. It'll be set down. And Stacy marking out. There's a player nearby. There's a player close. Mugi, however, coming on through. Icy found. A bit of a gap in the cloudburst. However, it won't be enough to actually deliver a kill. Now, Mugi putting that pressure on again, going for that defuse, but it seems to be a free game. Stacy forced to fall back, and Mugi getting the defuse in. 8-8, boom. It's on the scoreboard, and even if Stacy will find a frag at the end, what's it worth? With Nyaru going down, but Team Mugi booking the result. We start things off back on an equal, I dare say, almost clean slate. But where is the rest of this round going to go? What are you thinking? I'm really interested and I'm really curious because momentum-wise, I mean, Team Mugi's got it all, right?
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't call it clean slates. If you take into consideration last 5 rounds and how they went, Team Mugi is on the brink of the victory. Really, they're just taking everybody, and they're rocking this so far. However, Haste, he wants to get back into action.
Enemy kill.
He finally gets a kill. Nyaru is in a tough spot and he cannot get away from it. So finally, Team Stacy, they might get back on the board, especially if you take into consideration the fact that they have access to Viper's ultimate, which is being used right about now.
And with that, Narsil will find the next frag. Shinshi then putting the pressure on, trying to bait with the defuse, but Icy having the idea, realizing what's going on. Narsil then moving ahead. Viper ultimate, the DK being a factor, and Narsil not finding. Finally, after the longest while, Team Stacy gets around on the second half. Maybe this will be that turning point, that change of plans.
It's
So let's take a look.
Needed. It's much needed, breakthrough for them. Finally getting round on the board, seeing that they are able to win rounds on the attack side, getting their confidence back. At least that's what I think. And I see playing crucial role during the first half. Right now, putting his own 5 cents into the mix as well.
Currently, with that being a factor, I think that you've got to be wary of those coming into play. Oh, scary days for Wombo right there. And look at the aggressiveness that they are showing. Team Stacy feeling daring and immediately committing to that spike plant. It will go down. The snake bite won't directly connect to anybody. Still, Stacy very low HP and Team Mugi on the advantage. They've got the 1 player extra. Stacy finding the return, however. Mugi going down, Shinshi also falling. Further time being delayed. Nyaru, though, in that flank. Always a thorn in their side. And a 2v2 remaining, however. The spike not getting defused. Wombo down in a 1v1, but Icy catching him out. Team Stacy, 10th round, double digits achieved. And currently that leaves Team Mugi caught out once more.
Back with the momentum. But what really lacked in Team Mugi is Nyaru had a perfect flank, but where was the rest of his team when he was getting those 2 kills? Eventually, the attackers had to move their attention towards Nyaru, who was on the flank, and that's the moment where the rest of Team Mugi steps in to get some refrags, or maybe just to get the execution on the players that are playing in the retake position. Haste winning the duel with Nashil and giving access to B-side to his team. Oh my god, look at Wombo. He's left alone there. It's an Alamo for him.
Teleport's broken.
Spike planted.
That's a great term to use. Wombo, though, struggling somewhat. Oh, look at that shot! Wombo, you lucky man! Finds the target right through the cloud that had just been put down. She also on this high ground. I'm not sure if this is being accounted for. Mugi catches out Cake, and it's only the Viper left. Icy coming out from middle. Shinshi not being able to commit to the defuse, and now actually finding the last frag. Also sticking the defuse, still giving the last notch, or the second half of it, to Wombo. For a chance, of course, and a unwasted ultimate point coming in for him. 9-10. This is proving to be a tense second map. Tenser than what we saw in the previous one, I think.
Yeah, the first one was quite competitive as well. I really liked this approach from Team Stacy. What they lacked, though, was the one player who would close everything from the side of B main. If they just put a one player who would be, coming to the a little bit later, just to kill Wombo, just to kill the eventuality of this guy playing there, this would be a perfectly performed round by them. Wombo trying his luck now, playing a little bit smarter, faster than he used to. Oh no, that's a big brain play.
And look at this, the trigger discipline, Nartzil, bang on the money, 4K! Everybody wiped out, everybody destroyed. And Team Mugi, in a spectacular fashion, get the 10th round, get the double digits themselves. Again, an equal score on either side. But this is, I wouldn't dare say unlucky. I think sloppy is the better word for it. Nobody checked this. They all assumed, well, no pressure from there, so it must be clear. And that leads to a clean 4K.
Well, I think I cannot blame them, because after Wombo played so aggressively for the very first time, they maybe thought, okay, he's the only one that's playing towards B side. But yeah, they were sloppy. They lost a round where they had a chance to turn it back around. But if you thought that Mugi's clutch during the first round was something most insane, then you must have missed it. Just what Nyaru did.
Oh, Shinshi, you are bang on the mark. Cake to fall. And boom, that's the 4v1. Stacy, as the last woman standing, will try as she may. But this is an undoubtedly tough position to be in. Looking around, trying to find. It's currently less than a minute is on the clock. You've got Mugi. The team as a whole. A stellar performance, and now an advantage being claimed. And towards the end of the second half, towards the end of this map, those advantages are weighing through harder and harder in my eyes. Not only from a psychological standpoint, but also purely statistically speaking. 2 more rounds and Team Mugi, they've got it. They're in.
Yeah, and you've got to admit it, during those late rounds, Team Mugi, they keep calm and collected much better and much more often than Team Stacy. Unfortunately, from Team Stacy, they make those mistakes. They're sloppy. They are not playing perfectly, which of course is hard, but right now it's required for them to have a chance to get to bind and play the deciding match on the third map. Well, it might be too big of a challenge, because right now they don't have money, they're playing eco rounds, so let's see how it goes. So far, it starts off with a Wombo getting the first kill on the ball for Team Mugi, Nyaru getting some more action going on for himself as well, and maybe, just maybe, this ultimate from Viper might be an ace up their sleeve.
But then Wombo finds something that just makes you think, okay, there must have been some intel coming through right there, and at the end, Ice is caught out. Spike can be defused. And well, Team Mugi with a flawless round, no less. Also, a few ultimates that are going to be coming into play. The third one up there for Chamber. And Team Mugi, they are going to be undoubtedly strong. I mean, look at their opponents, right? You've got Icy Stacey Hayes nowhere near an ultimate. Cake's Res might be coming into play. And I do want to give the credit to the Hunter's Fury that Rafaelis can put in. She can be really powerful with that.
Yeah.
But the 3 ultimates that they're facing off against, I mean, that's a scary prospect. It really is.
And in this situation, you really have to ask yourself a question. Are we depending on our strength to get on side, plant the spike, and then use the Hunter's Fury? Or do we need this ultimate to actually get an advantage? Because so far, Team Stacy, they were nowhere to be found in terms of getting those early impact frags. Nyaru, oh, he's struggling, but he might just get out on top with the help of Mugi.
Nowhere to run!
Scary factor, and there's the Hunter Fury coming right through. Rafaeliz, you're on the mark, but you only get a tag, not a kill. 5v4 remaining for now. Defending side with the advantage. Stacy then trying to find the next sentry, but Those feet are stomping loud. Narsil, I think, is going to be a player coming in too. And there you have it. Snake bite so powerful. Mugi finding the next kill. Narsil on a roll. And it's just the one player left. What can you do? Icy, you're a solid anchor. You've been a great player. And you can find an impressive double, but it's still a 1v3. Will this be the ace clutch? I'd love to see it. Icy on a roll, it seems. A triple found so far. Shinji and Mugi quite low. But eventually Mugi getting the final kill. The 13-10. And the best of 3. It's concluded quite swiftly. It's the 2-0. It's a really solid performance from Team Mugi. And they deservedly get this win in. They deservedly get the solid and better seeding for the playoffs on Sunday.
Such a heartbreaker for Team Stacy, however. They were so close and they really showed us some great Valorant today. However, well, some of those times they just played a little bit too sloppy. They forgot about, you know, flanks or the angles. And well, all in all, it was Team Mugi that performed. Well, they brought those crazy clutches. It was Mugi, it was Narsil, and I believe it was Mugi again, doing those 4K, 5K, you know, doing the ring around the rosy, going behind the backs of the enemies. It was such a hectic map, but I loved it. I love this icebox. It was much better than Breeze, and I'm happy that Team Mugi will advance further because they showed us today that they are a force to reckon with.
Absolutely. So, I mean, a stellar performance from Team Mugi and something that I think deserves that credit as well. And I don't want to discount Team Stacy too much. I mean, at the end of the day, they're also in the playoffs. That's a factor too, right? That's something that they can be happy about. But also, you know, when you think about it, you've got the likes of Team Stacy that also have that clutch potential at times. So don't discount them just yet. They're doing a fantastic job, and I really look forward to the performance that they'll be putting in the playoffs, in those grand finals, perhaps even down the line. But first, they have to get through the second semi-final. As you can see, we've got the bracket right here. Team Mugi in semi-final number 1, where they'll be facing the loser, so to speak, of course, Group B. Tomorrow, the lesser placed team, and where Team Stacy will be facing off against the number 1 seed from Group B, also decided tomorrow. And of course, that all leads to an exciting grand final where they'll be playing for that fated spot on the LAN, of course, in the beautiful city of Wrocław. But of course, don't fret too much. If you might be worried, if you see that your favorite team hasn't won out, there's still the HyperX wildcard. So don't be afraid to use that exclamation mark wildcard in the chat if you'd like to check that out. And if you'd already like to bookmark the page or something to make sure that if your favorite team doesn't win, you can still toss a vote their way and you can make sure that they might still make it to those LAN finals.
I've just noticed that Mugi himself raided our channel, so congratulations from our part. That was a stellar performance from you, especially during the second map. I think that was a breakout map for Mugi. Really, this Sage coming into play, coming alive. That was something to look forward. Tomorrow we have yet another day of Greek teams battling out on the server. We'll have Team FNE, Team Antilipsy, as well as Team Slacky. So some more action tomorrow on our screens, which, well, you cannot miss it.
Absolutely not, right? That action's going to be exciting. It's going to be another lovely, lovely day where we get to see who actually makes it through to those playoffs, to that fated Sunday, and eventually all the way toward that LAN. Of course, that does mean that for today, due to some player issues, you know, a disqualification coming through here and there, our day has concluded a lot earlier than you might have anticipated, as we might have expected. Shout out, obviously, to Mugi as well. He was the one who also got that 2-0, so he was part of the reason there. And a further shout out to HyperX as well for supporting this tournament. Thank you, guys. Without you, this wouldn't have been possible. Don't forget to check them out with exclamation mark HyperX in the chat. Of course, I was with none other than the ever so beautiful co-caster that I had, Magvia. I still love the name. Beautiful thing to have. And I was, of course, your host / commentator, RJ at RJCast. You can find us on Twitter, as you would expect. And of course, you can find us here tomorrow. We'll be rounding things up now, and we will love to see you back tomorrow on the same channel. Have a lovely evening. Have a lovely night. And of course, catch you soon on the 3 League GG Twitch channel. Good night and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
promised that Wrocław would wait for you, and we would meet again soon. We always keep our promises. The time has just come. There is so much to discover, to see, to experience. Make good use of your time. It would be great to see you again. We are waiting for you whenever you are ready. Let's meet in Wrocław.